Yeah, Shalom Israel. Before I start, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baharaka Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who will and teach well, to the Akim on the highways and byways and those pushing this word in true sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, there's this article I come across over in the UK. The local authority have been given. They're able to actually increase the prices of rent, etc., by 5%. And this is what we're seeing happening here now. They've increased it where all boroughs said they're gonna increase it by 5%, which is the max inflation that they can increase it by, and that's starting to hit our people. Now, this article, it says Lambeth raises the rents of council properties by up to £76 a week and invites tenants to vacate if they can't afford to pay. And ultimately, what's happening? The Mosai is using Esau to tighten the noose on the necks of our people, because I know these blocks here. This is on an estate called Summer Leighton Estate, and I know that these blocks house a lot of our people, and I know that a lot of our people that are wicked, is on this estate. So the Mosai is starting to tighten that noose to see, who are you going to serve? Are you going to come back to me? Are you going to come back to the covenant that you made, so that I can actually protect you? Or are you going to be subject under your oppressor? So it says residents of Southwark House on Colaba Lane are in shock after have just been given 4 weeks notice that their rent will be going up by 60 to 70, between 60 to 76 pound per week as a result of a huge increase in service charges. It says most of this is for heating, over which residents have no control, because what they do, they have a thing called a communal heating. So for 6 months of the year the heating is on, and for 6 months of the year it's off. So we know over here what's happened lately. October, November, when it should be cold, it's still quite warm. So the heating be on, the house is baking, it's warm outside, and you can't even control the heating in these places. So it says most of this is for heating, over which residents have no control over. There are no individual meters installed in households, so everyone has to pay whatever figure Lambeth demands, regardless of their usage. So you can, during the winter time, you can have it on 24/7. You're still going to have to pay that standard amount. Is moreover, because Lambeth has decided not to install thermostat timers, it's impossible for residents to turn off their heating even if they want to. So much for Lambeth's commitment to reduce energy usage. It says to add insult to injury, on the back of the letter giving residents just 4 weeks notice to find an additional £240 to £300 per month. Yeah. It says Lambeth helpfully advises them that they can avoid paying the revised rent by ending their tenancy. If you can't afford it, get out. Yeah, this cruel, harsh wording to people already struggling to make ends meet, and is the language of full-on exploitative landlords rather than what's supposed to be a Labour council. So, like I said, the Most is actually tightening the noose on the neck of our people, man. Is making you make that choice. Who you gonna serve? Are you gonna serve him, or are you going to serve the oppressor? Says this increase is completely unaffordable for many of the families on the estate, some of whom are already dependent on food banks. And because this is mainly an increase in their service charges, it won't be covered by benefits. So if you're signing on over here, getting help from the government, the help that they're giving you won't cover the cost of this heating. This is totally different. What hardship grants that are offered by Lambeth come nowhere near covering this huge increase, and most people will have already used their energy grant on their electricity bill. So it's going to plunge people into debt and quite possibly homelessness. And Esau don't really care. At the end of the day, he's got his plans made, and this is just his way of working towards that. It says one resident who has lived in Southwark House for over 20 years told Bricks and Buzz, how are we going to find an extra £200 a month? This huge increase has come completely out of the blue, and Lambeth have given us no choice in the matter. So, like I said, it's not out of the blue in the sense of, on the news they were saying they're going to raise their prices. The local government was going to raise their prices by the max, which is 5%. The only thing we didn't know is how much that 5% would amount to. Like even my rent has increased, and it's quite a big increase. Nothing near these, but in itself it's still a high increase on a weekly basics. It says, I'm disgusted with this move by Lambeth Labour. I voted for the party last year. I like my local councillor, and I thought I could trust her. And the scripture does say, never trust thine enemy, man. It says, I had a leaflet last year saying we're on your side. Doesn't sound like it. They should be ashamed for allowing this to happen. We wrote to Helen Hayes, MP, who represents the area, and she said, I've written to Lambeth Council on your behalf. I've set out your concerns about the increase and the lack of consultation with residents. And consultation wouldn't have done anything anyway, because from this pandemic situation coming, and now they're letting people free, for want of a better word, to roam up and down. All they've done is increase everything. They've, over in the UK, certain side roads that you could use to cut out some of the main road, they're blocking them off, so they're forcing everybody on the main road, causing traffic, and then, in turn, that's to make you leave your car at home and use their transport, which is going to make them money. It's all about making them money, but at the same time, it's a Most High making you choose who are you going to serve. We're coming into serious times. We can see what's happening around us, and we can't be sitting on the fence, man. Yeah. So I've also asked what support will be available for tenants who cannot afford this increase. It says, as requested, we wrote back to Hayes on the 10th of March. So that's like 20 days ago now. But I haven't heard anything since, as if they really care. Because at the end of the day, these councillors and the MPs, no matter what comes into place, they will be able to afford it. They're not putting nothing in place that's going to affect them. It's only going to affect you. It says, I had a resident on an estate last night in tears saying they have not had any pre-warning of a letter they had just received saying that their heating and water has gone from £11.31 to £51.21 per week, up £40 per week. That's 4.5 times what they were paying. This is payable during the summer times too, because, like I said, they control when it comes on. And during the summertime, even though it's warm, you're still paying for heating that you're not using, a heating that you yourself can't control. They said, as a retired person, how do they expect me to find an extra £2,080 per year housing benefit will not help towards fuel bills? And, it is what it is, man. It says, as landlords, Lambeth should be shielding residents from these massive fuel increase by helping them through a situation they themselves have created, and should immediately allow all individual residents to be able to control the temperature and bills in their own individual home. But you get the gist of what's happening, man. The Most High is actually tightening the noose around the neck of our people, and it's that whittling season. It's that season where you have to make the choice. This is Joshua 24:15. It says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, which to many of our people is evil for them to serve the Most High, to stop the things that they're doing, to leg of the pork, to keep a beard on your face, to come out of the pants, to try and practice righteousness. To our people, it seems evil, because this society, this kingdom, it allows you to say you love the Lord, but you can do what you want, to say I believe in the Lord, but you can do what you want, to do whatever you want, but you believe and have faith and trust in the Lord. The Lord is my light. I trust in him. We have a personal relationship. No, the personal relationship is with yourself, because you're doing your own heart's desires. You're not doing what the Most High requires you to do. It says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve. Yeah, the Most High is giving you that chance now to serve him, so that he can start to protect you. But many of our people, they're too used to the benefits that Esau is given. They're too used to the benefits that the devil throws their way. He tried that with Yahweh Shai. He'll show them the wonders of this kingdom and say, bow down and worship me, and you get all of this. And our people are choosing to bow down and worship. When they're going to want to serve the Most High is when we're in the midst of trouble now. And by then, it's going to be too late. It says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood. And in this case, these gods is Esau. Yeah, that's who that God is today. These are the ones that our people want to serve through their religions, their philosophies, their ideologies. Everything they throw out at you, our people are running to it. It says, all the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's what you have to do, man. Yeah, you and your house, you have to serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's the only way we're going to be guided through these things. And that doesn't even mean that no hardship won't even come to you. You might even be one of these people that live on this estate if you're over in the UK. Yeah, who have to go through this. You still have to put your trust in the Most High that somehow is going to work it out for your good. Yeah, this is it's like 1 Kings 18:21. It says, and Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? You can't be on the fence. You can't be lukewarm. You have to make that decision. Are you going to serve the Lord or are you going to serve Mammon? Yeah, it says, if Yahweh be power, follow him. If it's the Most High you think is the Most High, then follow him. Do as he says. Yeah, but if Baal, in this case that would be Esau, then follow him. And that's what 2/3 of our people are going to do, man. They're going to follow Baal. It says, and the people answered him not a word. Do you know why? Because really and truly, they're like Lot's wife. They're looking back. They're looking at all, we're an oppressed people. So anything that seems to ease the oppression, we gravitate to it. But that don't necessarily means that's the best thing for us, But that's what our people want to do, man. They're going to follow Baal over Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And then when it's too late, that's when they're going to try and turn to the Most High. What does he say? I'm going to laugh at your calamities. I'm going to mock when your fear cometh. Let me quickly get that. I'll close out with that. It tells you why. Proverbs 1:24. It says, because I have called and you refused. Brothers are continually on a daily basis, calling out to our people, either through videos, through hitting the highways. We're calling out to our people. But it says, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. It says, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, and that's when many of our people want to turn to the Most High. In that time, it's going to be too late. This is the time we're meant to be acknowledging our faults and returning back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Like it says in 2 Ezra 16:19-20, famine and tribulation and anguish, roughly paraphrasing, are sent as scourges for amendment. But then it says, but for all these things they will not turn from their wickedness. And that's what we're seeing now. Yeah. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Yeah, they chose to fear the oppressor. They chose to listen to the oppressor and follow him. This is why people are going to take that MOTB too, because you're going to be showing the Most High, you know what, this is who I love. Yeah, you're not trusting in the Lord with all your heart for him to guide you. You prefer to lean on your own understanding. Yeah, verse 30, Proverbs 1:30, they would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. And the things that we're going through now, that's the reproof. Yeah, the trials and tribulation that we go through, that's the refining process. It says, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. Whatsoever a man sowed, that shall he reap. You can't sow wickedness and expect to reap righteousness. And the Most High is not unrighteous to make you sow righteousness or sow towards righteousness and make you reap wickedness, evil. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them. And what they're turn away from? From this truth. You know, what the script said, they shrug the shoulder. And we see that daily when we're out there, man. Or I should say daily when brothers are out on the highways. You see that people are shrugging the shoulder. Either literally shrugging the shoulder or ignoring that call out to them. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them. Yeah, how long are you simple ones with you love simplicity? And the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Yeah, because many of our people are doing well in this kingdom, so they don't feel that they need to turn back to the Most High. Yeah, you got some of our people that's doing well, so these things ain't really hitting them. But then you got those that's not doing well and being hit, and in both cases, they're still not turning back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yeah, that's simple as hell. That's why it says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Yeah, but whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So yeah, so that's what I want to touch, man. The Most High is actually putting us in a time where we have to choose. You know, who are we gonna serve? Who is our master? Who is actually our God? You know, is it Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, or is it Baal? But you know, I'm gonna close out there. Hopefully, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to close out. I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash, Kwame Sha'Allah.